Opening week of Inters action continues, this time with Tier 3 action around Circuit Paul Ricard in France. I'm Scotty, I'll be your voice of Tier 3 action this season, so pleasure to be with you for, I reckon, a great season. Plenty of quick drivers in this field. But before we go any further, I'll introduce co-coms for tonight. Matty AU. Matty, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good mate. Really pleased to be here and really excited to see what we can produce out here. Because as I said in my after my draft, I said this is going to be the strongest tier and it should decide the championship. So really pumped to see what we can get out here and hopefully we can have a really solid race.
Yeah, exactly. And if we see a fair bit of action like we did last night with Tier 4, should be in for another good race. And must admit, both you and I are pretty happy fellas after the result last night. Trina P1 for you, for your Aston guys, and Bang for the Alfa Romeos. So, yeah, definitely looking forward. Hopefully we can get the results, but we'll try not to be too biased with our teams. But as I said, I reckon with this early quali session, we might just look at a few of these drivers. We do have 6 reserves in, so a bit of a mixed up field, but we'll go through once cars come out, which they have, which is Gordo first, so one of our full-time Ferrari drivers. So him and Boy Dog in the red car this season. What can you tell me about both Ferrari boys?
I think Ferrari's got a really solid T3 squad. Nash should be absolutely ecstatic to what he got. Gordo was an absolute steal, and Blue Dog will be really good for some solid points. So he'll be really happy with that squad that he's got here, and yeah, it should be a good team.
Yeah, exactly. We'll go down the list, I reckon. For the Merc, Deadly Fuller is our full-timer. JJ was late out, unfortunately, so he's been replaced by Crump and Kano. He raced last night, so I have a bit of a feel. But yeah, Deadly Fuller, only the one full-time. Hopefully he goes well for his team tonight. Anything you can tell us on Deadly Fuller?
Yeah, Deadly Fuller, he'll bag some good points for the Merc. Obviously, his teammates out tonight, and in JJ, who's again absolutely rapid. So it's a big loss for Merc, but Deadly Fuller should come in and do the job, and yeah, should secure some good points for Merc tonight.
Yeah, exactly. As I think we have Gordo just about to start his lap, so we'll follow him around the first lap, around 1-2. I think we want to try and not be super wide through there as he comes up to 3, 4, and 5, taking as much curve as possible. Once again, a nice exit through 5, 6. Obviously, definitely a big part of the track that easily can spin if you try and push the car too much early on the throttle. But he activates the first of 2 DRS zones on this track. So it's a 1.8 kilometres straight with the chicane in the middle, but definitely chances of overtaking in the chicane and trying to get a good exit.
He's got some traffic in front of him as well, Scotty. Let's see if he can get a good clean run here, and the car gets out of the way, which is really nice. And
Yeah,
it's just got a
exactly.
purple, obviously the first car through, but um, yeah, he needs to really look after this car coming through this corner here because it's a very strong right-hander, and he's taken that very nicely. It should be a very nice lap.
Yeah, exactly. Sector 3 is a long sector. It's about 42, 43 seconds from memory. Yeah, very technical. Want to get your lines right. But he comes up to the final couple of corners now. Once again, a nice exit out of turn 15. Gets DRS activated straight away, and he'll follow the outside line, cross the line, and he'll do a 31 flat. So
Ooh.
nice banker from Gordo.
Yeah,
Um,
very nice lap here.
yeah, exactly. He's
Bridgie's
only
followed him back with a 2 second gap there as well. So Bridgie again, another driver who got a feel last night and see how he went, but yeah, about 2 seconds off the pace there for him. So he's going to look to improve moving
yeah,
forward.
yeah, Deadly Pull 32.6. So Gordo, really nice lap. Adds our only team principal on this field this season. So he's currently P2, but Gordo 31.0. He's only half a tenth off of what Bang set as pole position in Tier 4. So already up to speed straight away, Gordo.
yeah, really, really solid lap. And again, that's only his first lap, so you expect him to probably hit into the 30s, you'd imagine. So
Exactly. Well, Christo, one of your members goes into second on a 31.6. So not a bad lap, as we do have a Red Bull spinning at turn 2. So
ooh,
who is that? Not like a boss, that's Aussie Powers. Oh, we've
Aussie
got
Powers is
multiple
around.
cars. So that's one of the Haas's as well. So Sandro, so as we thought, we did see that a little bit last night in Tier 4. Turn 2, just the exit. Just people either riding that curve a little bit too much or just getting a little bit too happy on the throttle. So he's going to
Yeah,
be
it's
out
a
of his
tough one,
way.
that corner. I've spun a few times around there personally, but you've got to be very, very careful on the throttle coming through there because, yeah, you can easily lose the car. Looks like Bopton's put in a 131.4 to put himself up to P2.
Bridgie goes for a second lap and he manages to improve by 2 seconds. It's purple final sector, so yeah, he's very comfortable. I think he had an incident earlier on. Bridgie did in the race, managed to come back, but then unfortunately just AI car retiring in the pits just sort of got in his way, and just a super unfortunate DNF for Bridgie. So he'd want a bit of redemption tonight, and I reckon we'll see him do a bit of that, I reckon.
Absolutely. I mean, I saw the footage last night, and you have to feel for the guy. It wasn't his fault at all, and he can't really do much about it. So it was points that just went begging, pretty much, unfortunately, for McLaren, and Mercy would have been filthy.
Exactly, as we ride on board with Blue Dog coming around the final corner. DRS has yet to set a time, but can he get close to his teammate who's currently on pole? He jumps into the top 5, about 7/10, but good banker lap for these guys. Quite a few drivers last night just sort of kept invalidating their times. So you don't want to sort of put that pressure on that last run. If you can get a good banker, you can then just push the track limits further and further.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, you put added pressure onto yourself that you don't really need. If you can ease into the first lap or two and get some good laps in there, then yeah, it makes third. You can just fully send it pretty much and try and get yourself a good time.
Right, looks like just finding another driver currently on a lap. There's sort of some of these guys coming back in. What about the Alfa Romeo?
Sandro's, he's on his out lap.
Switch to Alfa Romeo boys, Ratbag and Shadow. So they're currently 13th, 14th, no time set at the moment. Shadow's coming around the final couple of corners now.
Yeah, I think Shadow would want to put some redemption back onto this season. He had a pretty average season last season, even he can admit that. So let's see what he can do here. Coming over the finish line now, it looks like it's a 134 flat. So he's got some work to do there, Shadow.
Nice to see. Just turning up the my mic level.
Who else we got? We got Verk as well. It's just finished his lap 2, and he's just put in a 131.1, so that's not the P2. So a good showing down here for McLaren. Second and third at the moment. So yeah, a very good showing for McLaren boys.
Yeah, exactly.
So far.
Yeah, exactly. If the chat just wants to let me know that my mic volume is better for you guys, as we'll go through the field, just see who's on a lap. A lot of these guys coming out for their second runs.
Yeah, we've got anyone crossing the line? Gordo?
It was Gordo. He's just about to start his second lap.
Yeah, let's just follow Gordo, I reckon, through this lap, I reckon, if you want to call this hot lap, Scotty.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see him go through 3, 4, and 5 again. Hugging the curb, obviously, yeah, turn 6. Obviously wants to try and get the ride probably a little bit wider than what he wants, but we'll see as he comes through the straight. Fair few cars, hopefully that car weaving gets out of his way before the chicane. Comes through, hopefully Dirty Air doesn't affect him too much. He might get a bit of a tow. No, AlphaTauri gets out of the way. Good job by that car. He comes up. He's currently about half a tenth down on his first lap. As he comes around turn 10 and then the long turn 11. We've seen some good battling last night around this corner. Round 12. Got to just be a little bit careful about that inside curve. Can easily spin your car around. Wants to open this left-hander as wide as he can. And then wide. Cut in as much as he can. Take a little bit of the curve on the outside. DRS to the line. Does he find more time? He does. He finds nearly 3/10. So Gordo, definitely the man to beat.
That's a great lap there, Scotty. He's looking like he's the man, as you said. So, let's see what the guys down in the Astons can do. Oh, Christo's already invalidated. He might be on a hot lap. He has used his DRS, so he probably has.
Yeah, Aussie's Powers just starting his lap. What about the other Red Bull? Like a True Boss, he's full-time Red Bull. So how do you feel Like a True Boss will go this season?
Yeah, he had a really solid pre-season. I think he actually came first or second maybe in the pre-season. So he's got some form coming into round one. So I think he might have a good season based off his pre-season. So and as we all know, super consistent driver. And yeah, I think he personally should have a very good year. So yeah, should hold some good points throughout the year, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Sandro just having a bit of a moment turn 2, but he just improves to a 32.5, so he gets a good time on the board just outside the top 10. I guess we'll talk about the Haas drivers, Sandro Pro and Lindsay Games. I heard a little bit about Lindsay Games. How do you feel the Haas will go this season as a team?
Yeah, if they can work together, there's no reason why they can't hold some good points as well. Because yeah, Lindsay's improved a lot, and I've seen him race a few months ago in a few different leagues, and he's come a long way in the last sort of few months. He's put in some solid work, and I believe he can have a really good season based off the work he's been putting in.
Well, Lindsay, as we
just finished across the line here,
P6, 131.5.
So that's a good start for Lindsay. He looked to jump into the garage, put some fresh softs on, and go again for his last lap and try and get into the top 5, definitely.
Yeah, that lap will give him some good confidence coming into his final run. Blue Dog's just on his lap now. A lot of drivers just coming out of the pits. I think that's a Red Bull coming around the final corner, so I'll quickly switch back to him. Like a True Boss. Oh, and he invalidates. I think it went a little bit too wide out of the final corner. So it would have been a 31.7, which would have put him in the 10. So super unfortunate, but very easy to invalidate a lap around here with just taking a little bit too much curb.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like the Mercedes is going in. There's an Aston coming back around. Who's that?
Tetris. Tetris just crosses the line. He pops himself up into the P10 with a 31.9. So
yes, that's a good lap from him. Again, put it back into the shed, put some softs on, have another go in this final stint. So Tetris is he's been around Inters for a while. Everyone knows who Tetris is. Had a really up and down season last season, so he's been placing T3, and hopefully that that can boost his confidence to have a good season. Because as I said, he's a good driver, but even he knows that his standards he can do better. So let's hope he can have a good season this season.
Yeah, exactly. Blue Dog didn't quite manage to beat his time. He was about half a tenth off. But he's showing consistent times, bottom part of the 10. But as we can sort of see, between third and about 7th, there's only just over 2/10. So very close in that upper midfield.
Yeah, the question will have to be, can anyone actually catch Gordo? I mean, he's 3.5, 4 tenths clear. So can anyone catch Gordo is the question. So it's something that I want to keep my eye on there, because otherwise he might run away with this race out here in France.
Yeah, exactly. Ratbag just joined the quali session a little bit late, but he's managed to get himself out on track. So I think we've got about just under 4 minutes to go, so we'll be able to get at least one run in. So we'll see how Ratbag goes there, as all the guys are just coming in. Both McLarens are starting an a flying lap, I should say. So we'll follow them. Verk seems to be the one driver, along with his teammate, that could challenge for pole.
Yeah, speaking of Verk, I've noticed Bopton down there in P4. I don't know if you followed much of DRS last season, but these two had a massive, massive battle throughout the whole year. Came down to the last race of the season for the championship. So these guys have found themselves in the same tier here in Inters, both new drivers. So I'm absolutely stoked and keen to see how they can go on track because, yeah, if you followed last season in DRS, it was an absolute mega season between these two. So they'll be excited to jump in together again and keep it clean and yeah, have another battle and hopefully we can get a good one between these two again.
Exactly, and as we've seen, they're only separated by 2 positions, and it's only 3/10. So, as we know, quali's only the first part of the race weekend. So they've got to put it together in the race. And if Bompton can jump Bridgie, if positions stay as they are, could see that real nice battle from DRS heat up here in Inters.
Well, I did just see Verk get a purple sector too, so this could be a pretty good lap here from Verk.
Could be. He does need to find 4/10 with the big margin that Gordo had. As Gordo does come on his flying lap. Verk, maybe a little bit of a toe from the car in front. Maybe, but he'll come across the line. I reckon this will be a good lap. Oh, he does. He squeezes it into the 30s, but he's still just under 2/10 behind.
Yeah, there you go. Sam's improved up to P5, I see. Is he improved?
Yeah. Nice lap from Sam. He was a late call-up about 10 minutes before race start, so nice laps from him, being able to jump in straight away and put himself in the top 5 at the moment.
Yeah, that's impressive because, yeah, he didn't really have many practice laps to do, or if any.
Yeah, exactly.
So, he's back on board, Sam, because he's just got a purple sector 1.
Well, we might just switch back to him then if he's got purple. He's about 6 to 7/10 off pole at the moment, but he only needs to find 200s to jump up into the second row.
And he's looking like he's taking that quite well in the exit there, and it's just flat out down this straight here, absolutely flat out. Oh, we've lost Bridgie.
That's retired in the pits.
He
must have messed up his last lap, so he came in with 2 minutes, so no chance for him to come and do another lap. But Sam, that delta was telling me he's up by 2/10.
Yeah, that's going to put him, as you said, onto the top row at the moment, or P3 even. So second row.
Alphas does stay out of the way, which is good. So Sam,
he's looking
no traffic to the line.
Needs to get a really good exit out of this tight corner, and he does seem, and DRS opens up, and he's going to cross the line with a 129, 130, 1-2. So he moves up to P3. So mega lap from Sam.
Yeah, exactly. Jumps up the 2 positions he needed. Bompton, but retakes that position. He goes up into P3.
Oh, that's great. Again, I don't want to harp on it, Scotty, but P2 Verk, P3 Bopton.
Yeah, 100%. So it's going to be a ripper. We'll be interested to see what these guys start their tyres on. Tetris comes across the line. He's starting his final flyer. That was the Haas behind. Lindsay crossed the line. So nice result from Lindsay if he can stay P6.
Just got crumped that crossed the line. He invalidated in his last lap and has yet to actually put it on time. So he has provisionally P19 at the moment. Yeah, Aussie Powers is actually P20 because he's also invalidated.
Like a true boss coming across the line now. Can he move up from 13th? He can. He jumps a couple of spots to P11. Does get into the 31s. So
just again, that 1/10 coming into the last corner here. Can he improve? Because this will be.
He'll jump up
the line with a 131.
Jumps twice. Jumps 2 spots. So very nice lap from him. Again, only probably less than a 10th off the second row of the grid. So nice lap. And that's 2 Astons in the top 5 currently.
Beautiful. Shadow crossing the line here. He doesn't improve. He won't improve, no.
No, so he'll stay 18th.
To follow.
So he's still on a valid lap. So we'll follow him across the line. Oh, he got out of the way, so he must have been down on his time. But that's adds.
Like he's run out of fuel.
He might have misjudged the fuel or had to take an extra lap. Didn't quite make it. Blue Dog jumps up into P5. So again, Ferrari looking strong. So Ferrari, Aston and McLaren look like the quick teams in this field.
Yeah, definitely.
Right,
what else we got here? Tetris doesn't improve.
Cool Boy in the
Haas
pits.
coming over.
So I think that's it. That's Quali done. And Gordo, he takes the first pole of the new season of Inters. And he does it by, I'd say, a decent margin. Just under 2/10, but him and Burke probably sort of clear of the rest of the field at the moment.
Yeah, it's a weird one. The first 2 picks of Tier 3 as well, and they've really shown so as well. Gordo being pick 2 and Burke being pick 1. So, they'd be very happy with that. And I guess Mash and Mercy will be sitting there going, we nailed our picks.
Yeah, exactly. So, Ferrari on pole, but Burke, he'll be alongside him, and he'll want that lead into turn 1. Gob did say Ratbag did run out a few on that last turn, so super unfortunate. So it would have been very interesting to see what time he does. But Gordo, first pole position, Burke P2, Bompton. We know how those two, they can't be separated even in Inters for the first race. So Sam, late call up P4, Blue Dog P5, Christo P6, Bridgie, the T4 reserve gets P7, Lindsay P8, Tetris P9, Ads gets the final spot in the 10, and then Luck True Boss, Sandro Pro, Ratbag, Deli Fuller, Bloody Who Cares, Woofer, Cool Boy, Shadow, Kano, and Aussie Powers are your final 10. So it'll be very interesting how this race goes.
Yeah, I was actually quite surprised there with Aussie Powers not setting a time. I actually find Aussie Powers to be quite quick, and again, had a race last night, so he'd be looking to really try and get a driver of the day performance out of there in P20. And try and get some redemption from last night as well. So look to him to climb early.
Yeah, exactly. Aussie Powers was moving out of the way of cars, and he got this and next lap invalidated. So that's what hurt his final run. So that's why he couldn't set a time, unfortunately.
Spewing. That's very unfortunate.
So how do we think the guys are going to go tyre-wise? Because we saw Trenner win it on the hard medium, but Bang was only close and quiet. The other two guys on the podium went medium hard. So no safety car helped the hard medium runners. So
yeah, definitely.
So what tyre strategy do you reckon would you probably go with? And as I said, no safety cars last night. Could safety cars hamper the strategy a little bit?
I reckon the medium hards is probably the right strategy to do. I think with the cold hards, you can lose some positions pretty early to the medium runners. And also, it's a very wide track here in France. So it's pretty hard to actually bid it into a wall. There's a lot of runoff areas. If you spin, you're probably just on the side of the track. So unless you actually really have a moment, I would be shocked to see a DNF hitting a wall or anything like that. So we may actually see no safety cars again.
Well, this has probably thrown me a little bit. We've only got 5 drivers on the medium tyres. Everybody else is starting on the hards.
Well, there you go. Everyone doesn't believe what I have to say.
So Burke's definitely going the aggressive option. He wants to get the jump off the line, and we saw with Bang last night, definitely many to do that. So you're looking at Burke, Chriso, Lindsay, Sandro, and then Aussie Powers. They're looking to be the ones that want to get through this field in the early stages. I know some of the tracks hards are fairly hard to warm up. So it'll be interesting around turn 1, 2, and then obviously turn 6. Not exactly tyres temped up. Yeah, easily to spin there and cause a little bit of chaos.
Yeah, you definitely want to make sure that your tyres are up to temperature going into turns 1 and 2. Especially coming on the exit of turn 2, because you can see, as we saw last night, a bit of carnage out of there. You have a tight spin and you can easily go back in the middle of the track and there's a 6-car pile up. So hopefully these guys can keep it clean coming into turn 1, because we don't want any incidents happening based off a lap 1, turn 1 or turn 2 incident, because as we all know, you can't win it through turn 1.
Oh, Ads has been disqualified, and that's a slow moving AlphaTauri, so I'm wondering if there may have been a little bit of contact, and Tetris might have been a little bit lucky not to get DQ'd himself, but we'll have to wait and see if there's anything that gets reported after the race. But
yeah, he's probably gonna start on colder tyres, and probably 8 meters back or something on the start box as well. So
And considering that
Big difference.
and considering that he got disqualified after the 2 long straights, not exactly a lot of tyre warm-up that you can do down there. So yeah, his tyres might be a little bit frosty. Oh, and I think that's a Alfa Romeo going into the back of the Haas. So luckily enough that neither of those drivers got disqualified. Bompton seems like he's overshot, so he's got a disadvantage now on the start. Got a few drivers that have just missing the grid. Shadow, bloody who cares? Not quite getting their lineup right, but everyone is on the grid now, so we'll wait for the lights.
All right, who you want to start the race, Scotty?
Yeah, exactly. 3, 4, 5 lights. We're underway, and it looked like a better start for Verk. Both drivers using ERS. So Verk, I think, already got the line, but Gordo had the better jump second phase. Still side by side the two drivers, the Ferrari and the McLaren. And Gordo manages to hold on, so Verk with the medium tyres not quite been able to get past. So that's a nice job by the Ferrari driver, and he can try and hold up this McLaren as long as he can. A bit of an odd line from Aston Martin, just gone a little bit deep there. As we can see, all cars have managed to get through the first sector just fine, which is good to see.
Yeah, I did see Ratbag and Like a True Boss have...
Oh, and as I say that, we said the turn 6 was going to cause issues, and it has. So, Bridgie, unfortunately, I think another first lap incident that he got involved with, just not sure, because we caught that late, but I think all the drivers hopefully have got away without any damage. Christo and Lindsay battling, and they're going side by side up to turn 10. Lindsay's got the inside line. Pulls out of it, so Christo currently P6. But at the front, Gordo doing his best, but Verk's definitely pushing the Ferrari driver. Wants to get past, make use of these new medium tyres.
Yeah, definitely. Just looking at the position changes here as well in the first lap. Looks like Aussie Powers has moved up 6 spots already, and same with Shadow and Coolboy. So, great start for those guys.
Yeah, exactly. So I reckon a couple of them are on the medium tyres. Yeah, Lindsay and Sandro. They've definitely made the medium tyres work, especially Aussie Powers is coming from the back. And he gets past another driver, Deadly Fuller. So definitely
he's on fire.
Yeah, definitely getting the better drive out of the corners, especially the lower speed ones. So using that medium tyre very well. So disappointed with his quali, but he'll be looking to move up even more spots with a lot more drivers on the hard tyres in this field than what they were last night.
Looks like, back at the front here, looks like Verk is right on the tail of Gordo coming into this long straight. We haven't got DRS as yet, but he's just going to turn his ERS on and burn that ERS, try and get past him.
Yeah, that looked like a better exit.
Looks like he's done that with ease.
Yeah, that was a better exit from Verk, but what Gordo's doing, he hasn't burnt nowhere near as much battery as Verk has. Verk already down to 33%. As yellow flag at the back, Like a True Boss has retired from the session. I think he's ended up in the wall. So will this be a safety car? No, just a virtual.
No safety car.
Gives these drivers just a little bit of a break. Helps Verk maybe save a little bit of ERS because he had to burn quite a lot of it to get past Gordo. But now this is his chance to sort of try and break away once we get going. However, being only a VSC, DRS will get activated straight away. So there's not going to be any leeway for Verk, so he has to be right on it.
Yeah, definitely. But looks like there is a bit of a gap from P1 and P2 down to P3. So Bopton looks like he's about a second behind the two front leaders at the moment. Obviously, he needs to get a good jump to try and catch up to those two. But he's on on the hards. So exactly. We're green again.
Yeah, and no drive-throughs for speeding, which is really good to see. As we do see DRS enabled, so Gordo probably wanting to try and fight this back straight away. Won't want to let the McLaren in front get away, as we've got Sam right behind Bompton, wanting that P3 spot, as Gordo less than a tenth, pushing him through turns 3, now 4 and around 5. You feel Verk should have the temp to have the better grip coming through turn 6.
Oh, he nearly went wide there to go to track limits as well.
He's got it up to about half a second. Right on board with the Ferrari driver. He's not burning, so happy to just sit behind him for the time being. Knows that Burke's probably a little bit quicker on the faster tyre, softer tyre, so maybe just happy to come back and let those mediums just wear themselves down a little bit. Cool Boy right behind Aussie Powers. I think Aussie Powers gets another spot. That's P11 for him. So he's flying through this field. He's nearly up to the medium runners that started in the 10.
Yeah, as I said, he wanted to get some redemption. He's a quick driver, and he's better than P20, let's be honest.
Ooh, a bit of contact between Bridgie and Shadow. Bridgie going around the outside. Shadow gets the inside line. Tries to switch back. Alpha Romeo goes a little bit deep. A little bit of contact again, but manages to hold position. So I think that will stay as it is for now, but wouldn't expect that for long. Bridgie obviously started in the 10, but just that contact or that incident in turn 6 dropped him down the field, but luckily no damage.
We also have... what else do we have here?
A lot of close battles. As Kano is the first driver to pick up 3-second penalty, Blue Dog, he's got 2 drivers behind him and he does not have DRS, so Chriso would probably look for a move down this straight, and he got a nice run through there. ERS, plenty of ERS to use. I don't think Blue Dog's going to fight this too hard.
No, very nicely done there from Christo in the Aston.
So he's got pace, so we'll see if Christo can get back up onto the rear of Sam. He's going to find about 6/10 as we go down.
Sam is battling with Bopton here as well, trying to get closer to him, both on the hard. So we've got a yellow flag in sector 2.
That's an Alfa Romeo. Shadows had a bit of a spin out of the chicane, so not sure what happened there. Definitely easy to get a little bit trigger happy on the exit, or easily to have a touch, but we'll find that out a little bit later on. But we'll go to the front. Gordo still sticking with Burke, so unlike last night, the medium tyre runner unable to get away.
Yeah, if you're in Gordo's situation, you've got to be proud of what you're doing at the moment, because you are on the slower tyre and you're only staying within the second still. So let's see if Burke can pull away at any stage. With Christo just put it on the fastest lap here with the 1:35.3, taking it off Burke, who just put it on the board too.
Yeah, that DRS definitely would have helped him on that lap. So down that long back straight, but Burke, definitely the quickest man. Gordo did set his personal best with the help of DRS as well. And it's still about half a second when we come down to this point. So Gordo's not losing a lot of time in the technical third sector that you would think that the medium tyres would be very good compared to the hard. So yeah, he's doing very well. And even Bompton, he's not losing a lot of time, but Sam's up the inside. And this looks like to be a straight pass as well. So Sam into the top 3 now.
Just on board here, Deadly Fuller, who's about to get the pass done on Cool Boy. He's got DRS wide open here, burning the RS, and he's got past him. Nicely done there from Deadly Fuller.
Exactly, gets it done. Cool Boy. Thought about a remove. Does he get a better exit through there? Bridgie, unfortunately, he picks up a 3-second time penalty. But Deadly Fuller, way to the right defending, but he comes back to the racing line. So he's got a bit of a train behind him, as that is Bridgie going past Ratbag. Or as Ratbag sticks the nose back up the middle. So still side by side. Bridgie's got the inside line, or a little bit of contact. And a bit more contact. Bridgie holds that spot. Hopefully Ratbag doesn't have damage. Ratbag's not going to let this position go. Side by side. And Ratbag's, I think they've had contact, so he's had a bit of a spin.
Yeah, I think enough room was left there. That was interesting.
Yeah.
It did have a bang of wheels there, though. So.
And Sam's in the middle of the track at turn 1. So
Sam's around.
Yeah, so he might have been battling Bompton. So Bompton might have had to try and might have had another go, and he's just got to wait for the train to go through. So he's going to drop him right to the back. Bit close, but he's right to go, and he can get back up to speed. Him stopping.
No worth feeling that, Scotty. No worth feeling when you spun, you're in the middle of the track, and you're watching all the cars just go past you.
Yeah, exactly. So luckily enough, he managed to get back 3. Tetris, he's looking for a move up the inside of Sandro.
done that very nicely.
Yeah, so really nice spot. Really nice pass from Tetris. So he moves up into the top 7. Sandro wanting to fight this back. Looking at ERS, Tetris has got no ERS, so Sandro, will he think about a move up the inside? Oh, bit touchy on the accelerator, nearly drilled the back of the AlphaTauri. Luckily enough, manages to avoid him, but that sort of cost him about half a second. So the move to try and take the position back may not be quite on. And I'm wondering if these medium tyres are just starting to give up a little bit of grip.
Yeah, he can always just wait here for the DRS straight and burn that ERS that he's got. So let's see if he holds on here and gets a good exit. And he doesn't really get a good exit. So Tetris is still flashing above him. So let's see if Sandro can catch him into the next DRS straight and get the move done.
Issue is Sandro's now lost DRS.
Yeah, he's now second behind.
So he might have to burn what he has left to try, sort of get back in there. But Tetris actually had a pretty poor turns 1 and 2. Aussie Powers worked his way through the field very nicely. He unfortunately picks up a 3-second time penalty. So we're already...
What lap do you reckon these medium runners should pit here? Scotty, what do you recommend?
We saw a few of the guys come in lap 10 and 11 last night to get the undercut. The hards on the opening lap were a little bit touch and go. But once you get them warmed up, they're quite nice. It's hard to say. If you're in a battle, I think the undercut's got to be better, but you have to be wary on the cold hards. But I think, yeah, you definitely want to go at least 4 more laps, I reckon.
Sam is just about to pass Crump and Kano here, and he does that with ease. So he's now trying to get through the field. And the hard tyres, at least, that's only saving grace for him. But let's see if he can...
Yeah, Deli Buller wants his position back from Aussie Powers. He's sticking right behind, so Aussie's made good ground in the opening 7.5 laps. As Woofer and Coolboy are going together. The Coolboy just running a little bit off track after turn 11, so there was a little bit of contact through there, but Woofer gets the position off Coolboy. Deadly Fuller, as we said... Oh, who's that? No, Aussie Power. He's going to go super early with the undercut and unfortunately picks up a 5-second time penalty.
It's going to kill him because I believe he's already got a 3-second... Oh, he hasn't got a... Has he got a 3-second penalty?
Yeah, he's got a 3-second. He's up to 8.
It's going to kill his race, isn't it?
Oh, and he's got a front wing change too, so it's just sort of gone from bad to worse. It looked like he had good pace, but that's going to send him right down the field.
It's such a shame. He had a really good start too, so...
Yeah.
I missed the contact. There must have been contact somewhere, so we've missed that one, but...
It must have been it must have only been Lights who's managed to be able to drive around it, but as I said, it might have been on that last lap. That's why he sort of come in quite early, because you probably would have wanted to just try and stretch those mediums another couple of laps at least. So you're not sort of having very old hards at the end.
Yeah, definitely right. What else we got? Any close battles here on track? We still got Gordo. It's 2 cents behind Burke.
Yeah, just switch to that battle now. I think Gordo definitely has got the pace advantage now. Looking a lot closer, but Burke holding his own. Burke's actually got a little bit more ERS to play with.
It's still advantage Gordo at this stage, though, you'd think, because, yeah, he's in the hards and he's keeping up with him, so you definitely would say Gordo's got the upper advantage right now.
Yeah, exactly. Bloody who cares? Oh, on the outside. That looks like an outside move on Sandro. Oh, there was definitely contact, so Sandro's in the wall. So Sandro definitely going to have to wait for this field to get past. So same problem that Sam had. But yeah, definitely trying to stick his nose up the inside there, and then just made contact to the back of Bloody Who Cares. So that's dropped him down 10 positions. Sorry. So he's going to come in.
He's also lucky when he was spinning the car around, he didn't actually hit the rear wing on the wall, because that would have been absolutely catastrophic.
Yeah, exactly. As we got a few more drivers coming in now. Deli Fuller's in, Coolboy's in. Coolboy swapping from the hard to the medium, so very interesting call from him. So whether he had a front wing change that we didn't know about, as Kano picks up another 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, so Coolboy didn't seem like he did.
No, it seemed like a quick stop, so not sure.
Maybe he's trying to do a 2-stop race here. Maybe switch onto the softs at the end. Maybe I'm not too sure.
Maybe, probably a little bit
Interesting
difficult to
strategy.
make. Yeah, probably not one of the tracks to make the two-stop work. I think the tyre dead guarantee is not too bad, actually, as Sam gets past Ratbag into the middle chicane. So he moves up another position on his recovery drive. Good thing for him is he does have the medium stint to go. Problem is, a lot of drivers ahead of him have the medium stint as well. So sort of the one thing that you follow the grid with the alternate strategy, but if everyone's on it, no one really has the advantage. As Shadow, he gets past Kano around turn 10. Does he hold it? Kano tries to stick the nose up there. That's a corner cut from Kano, but gives him a poor drive off it, so Shadow will hold 14th. Back up to Blue Dog. So Blue Dog, really nice drive from him at the moment, keeping behind both Aston Martins. You'd feel that Chriso and Burke would have to come in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, definitely. Blue Dog had a really poor exit there, and he will get compromised with his DRS here. So yeah, based off your strategy, Scotty, probably would have come in, probably as you said, next lap or two at the absolute worst if you're a medium runner.
Exactly, but as you can see on top of your screen, Aussie Powers on those new hards, it's fastest lap of the race, so he's going for the undercut. Unfortunately, that 5-second time penalty in the pits hurts him, as Gordo pushing the McLaren through turn 10 and coming through turn 11. It's definitely, I reckon, got the better pace.
Yeah, he's on the rear wing on those hards, so as I said, it's probably advantage Gordo at this stage, because once he puts those mediums on, Verk might not see him again.
Yeah. Exactly right. So will he think about coming in? He doesn't, but that's not the line he wants to take through the final corner, or second final corner, I should say.
He might even get him here, Gordo.
I think Gordo might try and get him here because he's just been struggling a little bit with the dirty air off turn 6. So he'll get the move done. Takes the lead of the race back, but bite him back.
It doesn't seem like... At the moment, it doesn't really seem like he can probably keep up with him.
No, he lost 3/10 coming out of turn 2 there, so that definitely hasn't helped him. So Lindsay, wants off those medium tyres, so he'll box and come out on the hards. We'll see where he comes out, especially to Aussie Powers, who did make that early stop. Burke, yeah, he lost 7/10, so he's definitely not going to be able to get this pass back. So I think Gordo... he can go a little bit longer. I reckon he could probably go another 6 laps. 5-6 laps, if he can try and push it. Yeah, medium tyres to the end. I think it's Gordo's here to lose, I reckon.
Yeah, most definitely. See if we can get any safety cars here to maybe slow up the field.
Well, we did see a virtual late on, but that was obviously with the glitched AI last night, so hopefully we don't see that tonight. But
no.
As I said, good battles still throughout the field. Wolfer, he picks up the 3-second time penalty. Blue Dog still behind the Aston Martin. I think we might see a bit of a change here, or see that Aston dive up into the pit lane, I reckon, at the end of this lap, possibly.
He'd probably due to come into the pit lane, I would imagine so. Let's see if he does come in. Coming into the...
And he does.
He's diving in now.
Yeah, so lap 11. Definitely probably the right call. I think the medium tyres will roughly be about 55-60%, possibly, depending on how people's tyre wear is. But that will put Christo back into the field, but there's a fair few gaps in the midfield, so hopefully it doesn't come out into too much traffic. But there is a line of cars behind Bloody Who Cares, and he's got Bridgie right behind him, looking for the overtake. Down the inside at turn 1, manages to get it stick. Bloody may have the better exit, not quite, so Bridgie back up into P6, but still yet to stop.
Yeah, great work from Bridgie. Does have that 3-second penalty though, which may or may not hurt him, depending on what we can get. But yeah, really good drive from him so far.
Yeah, we're seeing some very good overtakes from Bridgie, which is good. So last night and this afternoon, some nice overtaking, nice racecraft from Bridgie. So definitely one to watch out for, especially in Tier 4 as a contender.
Oh, I think even so far, speaking, Scotty, I think the racecraft around here has been pretty good. Been one incident that we may need to see footage on, and the stewards will probably have to look into that one. But other than that, I think mostly everything's been pretty clean.
Yeah, exactly. Has Ads trying to get past the Williams. Lee look for an inside move down the inside. He does. Oh, that's a bit of a closed door. Oh, that might see a stewards report there. We were on board with Ads at the time, and yeah, it seemed like that door might have shut, but we'll just have to see how that goes. So that drops Ads back down into P11. So
old commentator's curse there, Scotty.
Yeah, exactly.
The old commentator's curse.
He definitely looked like he wanted to move, and he definitely looked like the quicker driver at that stage. But yeah, just turn 11, just with the differing lines. Yeah, you could definitely tell the move was on. But as I said, we'll let a possible stewards inquiry with that. So, but we'll wait and see. Bloody still up into P7. Hopefully, neither driver does get any damage from that. But this helps Bridgie get about a second in front. And
yeah, he's just in clean air. Just can drive it all the way now to his scheduled pit stop.
Interestingly enough, Verk's still out on those medium tyres, so he's our final medium runner at the start. Not to box yet, so and still hanging on to DRS. I'm thinking medium soft probably definitely not possible around here, so he's just trying to stretch as long as possible. But I'm thinking you may want the undercut, try and use the new hards, try and get a bit of a gap.
Yeah, you'd imagine he'd come in this lap, you'd think, and Crumpet came with another 3-second penalty. You'd think he'd come in this lap and put the hards on. Let's see if he does. He's
I reckon he was
now.
So it might have been an idea just to stick with him until he lost DRS, sort of get that speed advantage behind Gordo. So he lost that lap. So if he come in, he should still have a bit of a decent gap to the guys behind, because him and Gordo had about a 3.5 second gap to Bompton at the time. So
let's see how this undercut will go for him, because he needs to come out and hopefully he's not in any sort of traffic as well. And
Tetris just passes it. His teammate, right on board with Bridgie. Just see if we can see him. Cool Boy picks up 3 seconds. It's going to be close, and Verk's not exactly going to have the best time. As we just see, Bridgie has a little bit of a lift. So that's a bit of team play there. He does pick up 3 seconds, but that's definitely team play from the McLaren boys. So he's not.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, he's not going to put pressure on Verk. Let Verk warm up his tyres. So it should be
Bloody Hedgehouse is sort of a 1.5 seconds behind Bridgie, so they've played that quite well.
Yeah, exactly. We've got Sam right on the back of Woofer. So Sam looking at the two Williams boys now trying to pass. On board with Sam. He's got no ARS to burn, however. So is DRS enough? Will Woofer fight this? Sam with the inside line with the dive bomb. Does pull it up at the end. Woofer tries to get the better exit out of the chicane. I think not quite, but yeah, nice move from Sam. Late move, but managed to pull up in time.
Woofer's still catching on him here from behind. He's still on his gearbox here, but he's probably a bit too far down. Probably could have used a bit of ERS then and maybe tried to have a go in the inside line.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe thought Sam wasn't necessarily his battle, knowing that Sam did obviously qualify fairly high up, but obviously had that spin. About 10 laps ago, so but Wolf is currently in the 10 at the moment, as we got a yellow flag. Who's that? That is Ads again. So
he's just got to sit there and wait.
Yeah, exactly. Second spin. Manages to clear the Mercedes. Manages to give the Mercedes the outside line. Sam's left the session, unfortunately. So hopefully he can hop back in. He's still going.
Send him an invite.
Wolfer into the pits now, so he'll jump onto some fresh medium tyres. So Aussie Power is currently 14th. Still a fair few drivers still to make their first stop. Gaps have sort of opened up a little bit now with different strategies at the moment. Delhi Fuller looking to be the one on the attacks. 6-lap-old mediums against Ratbag's 14-lap-old hards. So you feel like this probably won't be the most difficult overtake at this straight. Yeah, Ratbag having a moment through turn 6. So I reckon this is going to be a gimme for Deadly Fuller. He's got a little bit... Actually, both drivers don't have any ERS, so it's going to be DRS power only. Ratbag
on the mediums.
manages to defend and gets the job done. Can he pull it up? What about Ratbag? Can he get the better exit? Wasn't too bad, but with him not having any ARS, I think Deadly Fuller's going to manage to hold on to that position. So that's the Mercedes.
Nicely done there from Deadly Fuller.
Yeah, the only issue with Deadly Fuller is 6-lap-old mediums. So it's going to be a little bit touch and go, but we'll quickly jump up to the front because our 3 leaders are in. So where's Verk? He's coming around the front straight now. We should see a Ferrari coming out of the pit. It's going to be close. Verk just gets in front of him. So he can hold it. Will Gordo get the better line through there? Gordo desperately trying to get some tyres in, heat into those medium tyres, but they're going to be a lot easier to warm up than those hards were. But Verk does get the job done, but Gordo... Verk probably wanted a bit more of a gap, so this has worked out very nicely for Gordo. And we should see Blue Dog come in this lap due to the Ferraris being close, so... I reckon at the end of this lap we'll see maybe Verk hold this lead, but Gordo on those mediums, I think it might be a matter of when, not if, I think.
Yeah, definitely. As you can say, even on that DRS straight, then he's just trying to warm him up. So I'd say next lap, maybe if not the lap next, he should get him done. So
exactly.
Once he gets a bit of heat into those tyres.
Exactly. Can't exactly ripe out Bompton too. It was about 3.5, but he's closed that gap quite a bit, down to about 2 seconds. So I wouldn't exactly leave Bompton out for this race win, actually. But I think if Gordo gets past Verk, then we are going to see that Verk-Bompton battle that we've seen in other leagues. So I reckon it's going to be getting pretty tasty by the end of this race, and we do see Blue Dog come in. So he's going to change to the medium tyres.
So that should put him into maybe just behind Christo, between Sam and Christo potentially.
Oh, Bridgie, his night sort of hasn't gone to plan. Again, he's seen good racecraft, but that's a 5-second per time penalty for speeding in pit lane. Gordo right behind Verk. Not able to do anything.
Scotty.
Yep.
Crump and Kano sitting down there in P18 has actually got 15 seconds of time penalties.
Ooh, yeah, not
what you want.
Yeah, unfortunately, he picked up a fair few last night as well, unfortunately. But we'll see the quick penalties on screen. Aussie Powers 8, Bridgie with 11. Bloody who cares? In the pit lane, but I'll quickly switch back to this battle. Gordo. Yeah, that seemed like a fairly easy move. Verk, will he think about the slipstream and nudge the inside? Not quite, so... It's a matter of if Verk can hang on, but because Gordo, I think, went fairly long on those hards, I think his tyres will be right to the end. And as I said...
Well, as you said, Scotty, Bompton's on the mediums, and Verk is on those hards, and they're separated by about 1.5 seconds, so can Bompton catch Verk?
Exactly, Sandro gets a 3-second, and we did see, I think, Aussie Powers make the move on Deadly Fuller, so he's moved up into P8, so... Nice recovery from starting last, but however, he's got 8 seconds worth of pens. He's actually cleared that nearly from 10th, so he's only going to lose 1 position at the moment. So he's still going to end up with the top 10 position if he stays where he is now, which is still a fantastic result, I reckon.
Especially when you have 8 seconds of penalties. That's as much as you can really ask for, really, isn't it?
Yep. And the man on the mission, Bompton, 34-1, nearly got within that second DRS. Verk still got it, but how long can he hold on for it? He's 8 tenths, just trying to keep within it. Oh, Deadly Fuller, he gets 5 seconds speeding in pit lane. So what do you reckon? A tricky pit lane around here? We've seen about 4 drivers pick one up now. Definitely trying to rush in, especially with how that corner comes into pit lane. Definitely a tricky one. So luckily enough, we haven't seen any of the front runners manage to speed, but definitely a tricky pit lane.
It's probably the 4th or 5th one we've seen so far today. So is it just not seeing the sign, or is it early, too late? I can't work it out just yet.
Not sure, but I said Bompton was just over a second. He's now under half a second, so Bompton really got some nice space. He's half a second up on his current lap too. So don't be surprised if we get another fastest lap. But he's now got traffic in his way.
He's just a man on a mission at this stage, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. So ERS, they're about the same. Gordo with the less amount, but 22% Gordo. Bompton's got the most with 36, so does he use the tyre advantage that he's currently got, or does he save a bit of ERS? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just on board Blue Dog. He's on the tail of Christo, so see if he can get the move done here, because Christo's on those hards and Blue Dog's on those mediums. So
Yeah, Blue Dog definitely got a nicer exit through there, so got to use ERS, DRS. Can he look for a move? He does go on the inside. Does he clear the Asabatan? He does. So Blue Dog up into P4. So currently Ferrari 1-4. So really good constructors points at the moment. So you might have Gordo currently winning this race, but Blue Dog, he's definitely not going to go down without a fight this season.
no, and as you said, great points there for Ferrari so far. Mash should be absolutely ecstatic with it.
We see this battle between Bompton and Verk, or Verk just didn't have enough speed down the straight to keep him behind, so Bompton up to P2. So Bompton only just over a second behind the race leader, and with the pace we saw, it'll be interesting to see if we see a battle for the lead. And he does do another purple middle sector.
He's on fire, Bompton. He's looking, if he can get within DRS here, yeah, there's no reason why he can't actually try and go for the win.
Yeah, exactly. And we may see Vert come into it the last few laps, depending on how these medium tyres degrade. But if Vert can sort of hang in there, you never know. Bompton and Gordo, I reckon they'll race really clean, but you never know what may happen at the end.
Or if we get a late safety car, you never know, Scotty. You never know.
Exactly. And in that case, will we see guys come in, pit for the softs? Bompton, as we said, another fastest lap, nearly into the 33s.
That's incredible. He's just done 3 fast laps in a row, I believe.
Yeah, but Verk's definitely not dropping him. But it's definitely turn 1-2 that the McLaren's struggling with the harder tyres. So with the lower fuel, the medium tyres are working really nicely. Bompton nearly got within a second before the DRS activation zone. I don't think he got it. No, he didn't, but he's under a second now.
Oh, this is going to be a good fight to the end.
Yep, and they came in at exactly the same lap, so we're on equal territory. Oh, that's Deadly Fuller. He's DNF'd.
Deadly Fuller's around.
Oh, and there's more contact between Sam and Bridgie, so I'm wondering if that's avoiding action. Virtual safety car. We don't have the yellow dot on the map, so it's another virtual. So the bit of chaos with Deadly Fuller. Didn't quite see who was involved in that lap 1 shunt, but I'm wondering if Sam and Bridgie were either involved or just sort of trying to avoid it, sort of ran into each other.
Yeah, and Bridgie's got those 14 seconds of penalties as well, which is really going to cost him at the end of the race here too. So,
yeah, Sam was going to.
Yeah, it's not what you want.
Yeah, Sam was going to capitalise on it, but now he's going to have to box for a new front wing, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. He's having a good race there as well. No time penalties.
DRS.
Put him up to about P8.
Yeah, DRS is enabled. Did any of the top 3 get hurt or benefited? Not really. Stay the same. Burke, if anybody, got a little bit of an advantage. We've got another yellow flag. Oh, that's Tetris around.
Tetris around. Oh,
yeah,
no.
So he was in a good position, currently in P7. So he's still currently penalty free. So if he can keep pace with Aussie, he'll jump him. But yeah, unfortunately, just whether he got a little bit trigger happy on the throttle, but that's unfortunately dropped him back down to 8th. Bloody Who Cares currently 9th. We'll quickly jump to this top battle. Burke's dropped DRS now, so it's straight fight between 1 and 2.
Oh, it's going to be a good finish here. It's going to be an absolute classic.
Yeah, as we see Sam come in, he's going to get a new front wing, and he's going to chuck on a soft set of tyres, so I reckon he'll try and go for fastest lap, I reckon.
Who else we got coming in here? We got Cool Boys coming in as well.
So I reckon, yeah, he did the early stop onto the mediums. He did have damage from the chat that I saw earlier, so he's going to go on a set of softs to see if he can pinch fastest lap. But Bompton about half a second off, but he's now got DRS Looking at the ERS situation, Bompton about 10% more. So Bompton going to burn a little bit. Gordo managing to save it a little bit. I'm wondering if Gordo's running a slightly lower downforce setup. We'll see as they come through turn 2. Still under 410, so probably Bompton was probably the better driver to get through that section of track.
We do have Gordo. He's stuck behind a car that he's about to lap. I think that's Cool Boy.
Yeah, I think that's Cool Boy. And Cool Boy may not want to give up that position because he's on fresh softs, but this does help Gordo in terms of... This does help Gordo get DRS. But Bompton's still right behind him. Oh, and who's that? Cool Boy. How'd he lose that? This may actually bring out a safety car. It does. Safety car. So, not
the box, don't you?
Oh, it's a tough choice. I reckon if you Verk, you box. See, Gordo and Bompton have got a decent gap to 4th and 5th, so they may be able to get away with it. But yeah, I'm just wondering if Cool Boy just trying to push through there, but just had a wobble and just straight into the wall. So, yeah, this race has definitely been thrown up right now, and you'd imagine every single driver will come in for a soft tyre.
Yeah, everyone from probably P3 onwards, you'd imagine. But I wouldn't be shocked to see the leaders come in either, to be honest. I really wouldn't, but let's see what they do here.
I think you have to. If you got, because I think new softs around here, I think will be a lot better than the mediums aren't too bad, as we do see Gordo in. Bompton, he's going to risk it. He stays out. What about Verk? He stays out. Verk stays out. I would have thought he would have been the one to come in. Blue Dog, what does he do? I reckon the Ferrari drivers will follow each other. No, Blue Dog stays out. Still, this isn't bad for Gordo. He's only going to lose about 2 positions. Blue Dog limited by the Delta.
Christo's in. Lindsay's in.
Yeah, Gordo soft tyres in 4th spot. I reckon he's still in a very hot chance to win this race.
Aussie Powers is in. Tetris stays out for track position, it seems. He's got no penalties, so it's probably not a bad shout.
Yep. As we see, switch to the tyre so we can see who comes in. So Tetris, he stays out.
It's going to be interesting to see if Tetris... it's going to be a hard one. Gordo's on those fresh softs, so... you'd imagine Blue Dog will get out of the way straight away to allow his teammate to come through. And then he'll have pretty much a free run at Verk and Bompton. So...
Yeah, I'm thinking that Bompton and Verk, and probably Blue Dog as well, are thinking that maybe this safety car will go long enough that we will not have DRS at the end of this race. That's possibly what they could be thinking, but I think... And I'm thinking Blue Dog won't make this too hard for Gordo, I reckon. So I think Gordo's only got to pass 2 cars for this victory.
Yeah, you might be right on that one, Scotty. The field is pretty scattered at the moment too, so it's going to take probably a couple of laps to really sort of catch up. But that might be a lap 25 go in, and you probably don't get DRS then, do you?
You don't. So if this race starts up at the start of 25, we'll get 1 lap of DRS. If it starts at lap 26, we will not get DRS. But I'm thinking just with those soft tyres around turn 6 onto the back straight, the amount of grip they're going to have, I'm thinking it was probably worth a punt, especially because, as we see with Gordo, he only dropped 3 positions. So that just with how spread the field was.
Yeah, exactly right.
But the one thing that this does hurt, as we were mentioning just prior, were all the guys that had big penalties. So Bridgie and Aussie Powers were the 2 big losers. However, they have managed to serve both their 5-second penalties. So Aussie Power is back down to 3 second, which isn't actually too bad. Bridgie unfortunately still has 9, so he'll be the biggest loser at the end of this.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to hurt him, especially now the field's going to bunch up. So if everyone can sort of keep it on the track, and he may fall down 7 or 8 spots at the end. So yeah, it's going to be unfortunate for him, definitely.
Yeah, but I'm thinking Bompton, 8-lap-olds, low fuel, he might be right, but I'm thinking Verk, it's going to be tough, especially with the warm-up process that he's going to have to do on those hards. I reckon Gordo, or Blue Dog even, if they have a sniff into turn 1, I reckon they're going to take it straight away. But what will stay
When
out?
do you think Blue Dog needs to get out of the way, or does he get out of the way?
You reckon?
Because if he gets out of the way, it's going to open the door up for Tetris and Christo from behind. So
Sort of depends. We'll see how Bompton does his restart. Obviously, there was a message in the chats today about the restart, so I don't think Bompton's going to do anything too stupid with the start-stop, but he's obviously going to think, when can he catch Burke out? And knowing that Burke's on the old hard tyres, he may be able to just go before in the final corner, knowing that he'll have the grip and the drive out of it, that he might be able to get a gap. So I'm thinking Bompton might actually make this start early.
Yeah, it's a good call. He's on the quicker tyre as well, so it'll be interesting to see when he actually decides to have a go at it.
Yeah, exactly.
And even all the cars behind as well. I mean, Christo, Lindsay, Aussie, Powers, they're all probably going to have a crack at Tetris at some stage as well, I believe.
And we
he's
did
on those 8-lap mediums, so...
Yeah, exactly. And we did see Tetris have that spin about 5 laps ago on those medium tyres as well, so that probably wouldn't have done them any better in terms of wear. Cannon picks up the 3-second time penalty under safety car is sort of not what you want, but
no, that's still number 24.
Yeah, still currently in at P16. So I believe it's points down to 15 for Ts 4 and 3.
Yes. So he'll be out of the points, you'd imagine.
Yeah, unfortunate. You never know. A couple of DNFs might snag himself a point. But he's keeping going. So as we know, these 2-lap restarts, all hell can sort of come out to play in terms of how aggressive people want to be. And I reckon Bompton will definitely want to try and fight his lead to the death, nearly. Try and get the second win in a row for Aston Martin in the opening week.
So it's probably have to come in this lap, you'd imagine, Scotty.
It will. It will. It's been out for about 3 laps, so it will come in this lap. We will not have DRS for the rest of this race, so it's going to be on traction and ERS usage. But with only 2 laps to go, you can pretty much burn your entire battery in these 2 laps. So it's going to be very interesting to see where people use ERS and sort of maybe the unique lines people take through corners to try and get overtakes done and completed.
Yeah, let's just hope it's clean. It's a final couple of laps. I know everyone will be scrapping for as many points as they can possibly get, but let's try and keep this as clean as possible, please, because we don't want anyone's races ruined on the second last lap, and everyone's pretty much been pretty clean.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll stay on board with Bompton. Maybe you follow Gordo, or maybe one of the cars further down. We've seen Aussie Powers be super quick in this race earlier on, so...
Yeah, I'll jump on board Gordo and have a look and see what he's doing. It's going to be interesting. Hopefully we can get as I said, a clean start here. So
yeah, exactly. Gordo, Bompton just trying to make sure he's got heat in his tyres. Where can he catch out Burke? But we've known the battles these two have had in other leagues, so I don't think nothing will surprise these two. So, and I think there's a bit of bragging rights. First race in Inters.
When does Bompton go? When does he go?
Taking a wide line. He's got ARS on. He goes. Comes out of the final corner. It does work a little bit. So he manages to get the start going. I'll quickly swap down to Blue Dog. Does he let his teammate by? He doesn't.
He doesn't.
That's an interesting call. I figured they'd be in the party and they'd do it. But then again, Blue Dog's got the podium position. So maybe didn't want to get it up.
Some space. Yeah, nicely done there from the Ferrari guys.
Yeah, as I said, you don't want to crash out currently in 3rd and 4th, so that's the last thing you wanted. So Gordo in P3, but Bompton, he's got the second gap that he needed, so Gordo has to try and get this move done this lap.
He's just trying to burn that ERS, he's down to 60%, just trying to burn it through.
Problem is, Burke's had to burn it, has had to burn it as well, so... Yeah, definitely interesting. I'll quickly switch back down the field. Tetris has actually jumped Chriso, so Tetris has done a good job with those medium tyres. A lot of changes. Oh, and Gordo has actually got past Verk. So Verk must have had a pretty shoddy exit out of the chicane. So Gordo currently P2. We've got a bit over a lap to go, and it's 8/10 the gap.
Yeah, let's see if Gordo can catch him. He's got a lap to go, a second behind. It's going to be an absolute classic, absolute ripper.
Exactly, but we also know that the soft tyres are very fragile, so they would have already had a fair bit of wear on it on this restart. We've got a yellow flag at the back. I think that's
around again.
Yeah, unfortunately. Oh, Sam's in the pits. Why has he come in? He must have had front wing damage. Gordo, he gets the fastest lap. Who was that for a move? Aussie Powers on the outside of Lindsay. Both on the soft tyres. Oh, Aussie Power sticks the nose in. Is there contact? Oh, a little bit. Has a bit of a wobble Aussie Powers, but manages to hold it. But that will open the door for Bridgie. So Bridgie gets it done. Aussie Powers manages to bump his way back through. So Aussie Powers holds the position. I'll quickly jump back up to the front. Gordo, 6.5 tenths. I don't think that's going to be enough.
Back?
He's too far back down here. And he's got absolutely no ARS left. Bompton's got a little bit that he can spend. He's got about 20% more.
And the chicane here, after the chicane, we go into this straight. This is probably where you're going to burn the rest of that ERS if you're Bompton.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
He does.
Yeah, he's starting to burn. He needs to. Gordo got the better exit, but Bompton able to just use that ARS. Gordo's on 0. We've had an issue at the back. Shadows had a spin at the chicane. So unfortunately, that he'll stay in the points as Kano gets another 3 seconds, but fight for the battle. Coming to the last final corners. So it's been these top 3 pretty much for the majority of the race. Another yellow flag.
Who's that?
That's Bridgie. He's gone around and he's retired.
Is he retired on track there?
Not sure. Footage may be asked, but coming around the final corner, and it's going to be 2 from 2. Gordo just couldn't quite do it, but Bompton is your Tier 3 Round 1 winner. Bompton by 3.5 tenths. Gordo gets second. Burke, he manages to keep that podium. Blue Dog just misses out. Let his teammate through. Didn't maybe battle him as hard as probably would have everywhere else. Tetris holds on for a good top 5 position on those mediums. Christo manages P6, so a double top 6, 2 top 6s for the Astons, and then obviously Ferrari 1 and 4. So they're your 2 big teams that got massive points in this round. Aussie Powers gets driver of the day, and I reckon that's a pretty fair shout coming from the back of the grid. We'll see when the results come up on the screen, but I reckon he probably finished like 6th or 7th.
Absolute fantastic race there, Scotty. It was great call from yourself. You know, your debut here in Inters in the comms box, so great call from yourself. And what a race that was.
No, thanks, mate. Glad having you along with me this week. And as said, shout out to the drivers because they made this action possible. Really good driving up front. It was really clean up the front. Good battles throughout the field. And as said, we've seen the Green Machine once again taking the top spot. So Aston, definitely the team to beat. So we'll see how they go in tiers 2 and 1. But definitely a good result there. Bompton, he takes out your victory. Gordo second, but he does get fastest lap. Burke rounds out the podium. Blue Dog, Tetris, Christo. Lindsay, a good result for him P7. Aussie Powers does get into P8, so that's 12 positions, 20th to 8th, but bloody who cares from 15th. And then Ratbag, he managed to get into the 13th from 13th, so Alfa Romeo 10th and 11th. Wolfer, good result on reserve from him. He gets a few points for Williams. Adds a few spins, probably not the race he wanted. P13, Sandro P14. Kano, he does manage to get that final point, so even with all those penalties, managed to hang in there, and he does get a points for Mercedes, which is good. Sam, obviously that issue had to come in last lap, and then did not finishes. Bridgie, Cool Boy, Deli Fuddler, and then like a true boss, DNF'd on the first lap. But need a bit of a break from that. But as I said, great racing all around, and Aston, Ferrari, and McLaren definitely the ones to beat in Tier 3.
Yeah, definitely. That was we got Gordo trying to get the guys in the comms box now for an interview. But yeah, as you said, mega points there for Ferrari as well. but second and fourth, I believe, as you said. So Marsh will be sitting there, be very happy with that one.
Yeah, exactly. He'll be thrilled, and a good stepping stone for him for tier 1. So I reckon he's going to be chomping at the bit to try and get up there and try and match his teammates in the lower tiers. But as we'll quickly go to the virtual showroom, and we'll show off the cars that these top 3 were driving. I'm thinking we might start with our third place driver, Verk. Verk, brilliant drive from you. Obviously, you went the opposite strategy to everyone else. Sort of that battle with Gordo throughout the race, and then just talk about your race, especially with that late safety car, your decision to stay out on the hards. So, how was your race from your point of view?
It was good. Obviously the strategy was to hopefully everyone else was going the hards and to make that gap long as possible at the start. The safety car was planning on going in, but figured with Bopton staying out, his mediums would have been pretty shagged by then. So just tried to hold on pretty much. Happy with P3 though.
Verk, what I will say is, how have we been sort of noting that your previous battles with Bopton? How does it make you feel that you get to see him back in the grid here in Tier 3 Inters?
No, it's good. I love battling Bopton. It's always been fun since DRS and so close to the drivers' champ with him. So it's good to be starting fresh in another league and battling them all again.
Yeah, it's going to be a great season. Your strategy, what did you think of your strategy as well with those starting on those mediums to try and obviously get the jump on Gordo as well and try and get that, that few second advantage, or what was the thought process behind that one?
Yeah, that was the plan, just to jump out and build that gap as big as possible. But yeah, Gordo's just too quick on those hards off the bat, so it was very tough to do that. And
no plans of coming in on those softs at the end either. Just wanted to stay out in those hards for sort of track position, it seems.
Yeah, that was the biggest plan, was to at that track position. So still good. We got a podium, so can't complain with that.
Did you think that so many drivers would actually start on the hard tyres? Would you have thought more people would have started on the mediums?
No, I honestly thought, a lot more on the hards. I know a fair few. I've raced with a fair few guys in this league, and a lot of clean races. So I didn't imagine a safety car so early. So yeah, better on everyone being on the hards.
Well, Britain next week, and it is our first sprint round. So how do you reckon you'll go at Silverstone? One of your favourites, or not necessarily a track that you like?
I don't mind it. There's obviously a lot worse, but no, it's a good track. Sometimes as we all do, go crap on tracks, but hopefully I can be consistent like I was today and bring in more big points.
Well, again, congratulations, P3. Hopefully the first for many for you and the McLaren team for Tier 3. But again, we'll probably see you next week. But again, congrats, Verk.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
All right, Matty, if you want to take our second place getter.
Yeah, Gordo, how you going, mate? That was what a race from you. Great qualifying session there from you, and then obviously backed it into a great race as well. Unfortunately, you didn't get the P1, but what did you think of your race?
Yeah, well, I definitely think Bopton deserved to win that every bit. I was feeling really comfortable in the first stint, because I was able to stay behind Verk on the hards, and then kind of a couple laps after I pitted, Bopton just came out of nowhere. I'm probably gonna cop quite a lot of shit saying it was the wrong strategy to box for the softs at the end, but I still believe it was the right strategy because Bopton was catching me on those mediums really quick. just before that safety car. So yeah, just his pace. Yeah.
Yeah, I must admit, Gordo, I thought at the time you actually made the right call going into the pits, and no one really else followed you, which I was actually quite surprised about. Um, what did you think coming out of the pits? Obviously, you were behind your teammate there, so were you guys obviously coordinating a switch at some stage in the chat with you guys, or were you guys communicating at any point through the race?
Well, he was in a separate party with his engineer, and I was in a party with my team principal. And then I thought everyone was going in, so I went in, and then I realized as I was in the entry to the pit lane that the only sauce I had were used from qualifying. So as I came out of the pits, they were on 11%. So that's why you didn't see me really warming up my tyres that much. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame, man. As I said, I thought it was a good decision going in, and yeah, you were caught behind Verk, probably held you up a little bit, probably enough for Bopton to sort of get that gap and run away with that one at the end there.
Yeah, I mean, Bopton's pace today, especially in the second half of the race, was definitely the best. So yeah, congrats to him.
So I guess the question is, without that safety car, do you reckon you probably could have held off Bompton, or because obviously I think we're on board, you had DRS from that lapped car, but then when they crashed, that caused the safety car. So was there any chance you could have maybe held him off without that safety car, or do you think he was just a little bit too quick for you?
Yeah, well, in the couple of laps before the safety car came out, he was gaining on me like really rapidly, like a couple seconds in a couple laps. So when I first saw it, I kind of got excited, because I thought, oh, I'm gonna have another chance to like compose myself and get some ERS back. But yeah, then I don't know. I was kind of deciding whether it was a good thing for me or it wasn't. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, again, congratulations, P2. You were definitely on the pace today, so I reckon we'll probably see you more up here for the rest of the 17 rounds. But again, congrats, P2.
Yeah, cheers. All the best.
Oh, thank you, and we'll introduce our P1, our victory, and second day in a row. It's the Green Machine, the Aston Martin, Bompton. First win of the season. You must be absolutely thrilled. We got Bompton in here.
Yeah, we do. Is your mic muted there, Bopton?
Can you hear me?
Yep, got you now.
Yes.
Alright, yeah, no, so, yeah. Bit sweaty after that one, but happy to come away with the race win and debut race here, so can't ask for a much better race than that, to be honest.
What did you think of, obviously you came into starting those hards, and you went down to those mediums, and I think you did about 3 fast laps in a row, or maybe even 4 fastest laps in a row. I think you were about 3 seconds behind the front two at some stage, and I think you narrowed that down to about a second within about 4 or 5 laps. Obviously, they were battling as well. When that was happening, did you think you were a real chance then?
Yeah, I mean, I was on the hards, and Sam had a bit of a spin and decided to take some evasive action. That's when I was about 3 seconds behind, and I just couldn't seem to put any time, like cut any time down. It just stayed around that 3 second mark, so I just had to keep trying to be consistent, really, and yeah, pitted for the mediums, and that's when I started to feel more comfortable on track, like the car was just doing what I wanted it to, compared to when I was on the hard. So yeah, then I obviously set those 3 fastest laps, and yeah, I was in my groove at that point. I feel like I was dialed into the track and just had to keep my head down and keep pushing.
Did you, obviously, the Aston team chat, you are known for a shoey. Will we see a shoey?
Oh, look, I already said to the lads in that chat, yep, I'll definitely be doing one if I got the race win. I definitely didn't really expect to get it first race, but yeah, I'll have to muster something up.
Wonderful. Anything else from you, Scotty?
Oh, I think you pretty much said it all. As I said, it was pretty much faultless, and then yeah, that's it on the medium tyres were absolutely brilliant. And then obviously you managed to hold on with the oldest mediums, but that sort of gap that Verk and that you managed to get was enough with those 2 laps that I just couldn't quite get there. But as I said, congratulations, Bompton, brilliant drive from you, and as I said, I reckon we'll see you up here again throughout the season as well. So congrats.
Yeah, for sure, and shot to Verk and Gordo for also making the podium as well.
Yeah, well, again,
awesome.
Congratulations. Before we go, we'll talk to our driver of the day, which was Aussie Powers. Quali didn't exactly go your way, unfortunately, so starting at the back, but I think that was a P8 finish, so up 12, and we saw a few of your moves on stream. They were very, very nicely done. Unfortunately, sped in pit lane would cost you a little bit of time, but that safety car at the end, yeah, you must be thrilled with your race considering your bad start.
Yeah, 100% lads. Quali, I just I'd missed the first. I think I missed the first ones because my game crashed. So then the second one came out invalidated, and then, like I said on stream, I had the situation where I had this and next lap invalidation because I was off to the side avoiding other cars who were coming through on flyers. So I didn't even get a lap done in quali. Started P20, and then through turn 1, like a true boss, had spun on the track, and I had nowhere to go. I tapped him a bit and caused a bit of damage to my car, which I could last 8 laps on before it really started to affect my performance. So that's when I went into the pits, and then put on those hards, and then those hards, don't know where I found that pace, but I was pretty rapid on those hards. Then safety car came out, pitted in. I didn't really lose any place or any position because I had like 7 seconds on Cool Boy when I hit into the pit, so I didn't lose any places or anything there for my 5 second. Then I tried to pass Lindsay, but every time I tried, he just left me no room, so I couldn't even get past.
Yeah, so yeah, obviously the difficulties with Lindsay aside, as I said, I think it was a good recovery drive from you, and obviously with the issues that you had in quali, Britain next week, considering the pace that you showed tonight, better qualifying, do you reckon you could fight the guys in this top 5?
Oh, 100%. I reckon if I didn't have that wing damage that I had to change in the first stop and then didn't have to serve that 5 a second, I reckon I could have been in the top 5 for sure, just then.
Yeah, that's almost asking for a promotion there, Scotty.
Yeah.
Tier 4 driver saying he's a top 5 driver in Tier 3 is almost shouting at a promotion.
Yeah, hey, but...
No, well done, Aussie Powers. That's awesome. That was a really good race from you, starting at P20 and having a crack through the field as well. That was a solid race.
Thanks, lads.
No worries, and I think that will just about wrap it up. Addy, thank you for joining me this afternoon. How do you think of that race? I thought it was fairly good racing throughout, and yeah, definitely heart and mouth stuff towards the end. But yeah, I thought it was a ripper.
Yeah, mate, that was great racing. The top 3 really showed that they can have some really good battles throughout the year. We are missing a few drivers that I do believe will join them at the front of the grid, and Izzy Bro and JJ as well, top of my head. So once they get back onto track, I reckon this will be a really mouth-watering Tier 3 season.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks for being in the Combox tonight. Well, this afternoon, I should say. 1 round down, 17 left to go. Before we sign off, Tier 2 action comes to us again at France in just over 2 hours' time, I believe. So come back to the Inters Twitch channel. You can see the Twitch see the comm team of Brocco and Shadow will be comms team later tonight. So hopefully we can see just as good action as we've seen prior. And can Aston make it 3 in a row? Claim Tier 4, claim Tier 3. Could they sneakily get a Tier 2 spot? A victory, I should say. So, but from Maddie and myself, thanks for joining us, and we'll be back next week for Tier 3 action.